Lust. Whoa, lust. Sorry, I saw Lala. See that little vein in his biceps? That's where lust. That's what came into my head. Hello, everybody. We are doing my first bracket that I've been wanting to do. We're doing a best TV character of all time bracket. I didn't make the bracket. So somebody made it. 64 people, 64 seeds. I have a few kind of blind spots on some shows I haven't seen, but for the most part, seen most of them from what I can tell, or I'm currently watching, such as Game of Thrones. I'm currently watching, but should be a good, fun bracket. We have Peach here. She's ready to go. Let's get to the overlay. This is the bracket we're doing. So you can see these are some of the top shelf people. No, all of them except for have not seen Peaky Blinders. Let me know if I need to watch that, guys, if it's that good. Have seen both of these shows, and this is not hard at all. Dale, you're not around for long enough. Skylar, way more impactful of a character. This is going to be on a couple of things. See, this I'm just going to skip. I don't know either of those guys. It'll all be fun. There's going to be a couple of these where it's like, I don't know the person. Just going to pick someone. I know Cersei. Morgan is one of the most inconsistent characters in the show. He kind of goes through the same arc multiple times. It's like peaceful, fighting, vengeance, going crazy. Gene is a lot more funny, obviously. He's Gene Cousineau. But he is impactful, and he does change a lot. And I think his journey is way more interesting. I actually haven't seen all of what Morgan does. I've never watched Fear the Walking Dead. I know he goes to that show, so based on just The Walking Dead and Barry, we're going with Gene. Daryl or Tuco? I love Tuco. I think Tuco is fucking amazing, but it's not hard. It's Daryl. Simon, fucking GTA. I mean, it's Saul. Like, there's no debate there. Jamie or Hector? Okay. Ooh. Very interesting. Hector, I hate, but that's kind of the point. And that's the point. And he's a character you love to hate in both shows. Jamie, I have not finished Game of Thrones, so I'm not 100% done with his character. I'm on season 6, episode 3. There'll be some spoilers for the shows we're talking about. For Hector and Jamie, Hector has 2 shows, and he's only really developed in Better Call Saul. You just see the end of that development in Breaking Bad. Jamie, I really liked for a long time. I thought he was going to have a little redemption arc. And then he got home from his journey, got his hand chopped off. And that scene where he's in the baths with Brienne is easily his best. It's like, wow, this is a really interesting guy. Then he comes home and he R-words his sister on his incest baby's coffin, pretty much. And he lost me. And he kind of lost me. And then he's kind of not been doing too much since, besides just grappling with the fact he's not the great warrior he used to be, even though he's still not bad. Hector is evil and interesting. He's going to have to take it. It's close, but Hector has a lot more going on. Damn. I really like the Hound. Carol goes through the same arc multiple times. She gets a new kid. Kid dies. It's sad. She cares about a child. It's over. Every character in The Walking Dead does the same arc, once or twice. No, twice, 2 or 3 times. The Hound, a lot more interesting. His dynamic with Arya is good. Carol has a lot longer to go. I haven't seen everything with her still. I haven't watched the Daryl Dixon show, but I'm going to go with the Hound. I think he's more. Fuchs or Tywin? Ooh. Fuchs is funnier. It's obvious. But Tywin sucks. He's evil, but he has a clear, it's just a different show. But I do have to go with Tywin. It's not too hard. Hank or Gabriel? I like Gabriel. I do. He doesn't repeat his arc. I appreciate that. Hank's the GOAT. Herschel or Barry? Not hard. I do think in the last season of Barry, he kind of loses himself a little bit, but NoHo, Hank, or Abraham. Abraham is a character who I love his look. I love how he's portrayed. And I think he peaks with his argument with Eugene, when Eugene finally talks about the truth. But No Hank is way funnier, obviously, but also very interesting and a lot more dynamic. Goes through a lot more. His journey's a lot more interesting. R.I.P. Abraham. People always forget to bring him up whenever they bring up Negan's killing, but gotta go with NoHo Hank. It's close though, guys. It's close. Not even close. Can't lie. I mean, Davos is pretty good. I really like Davos, honestly. He's one of the more honorable people on the show. But Walter White, that's the guy. Honestly, Davos would be who I would pick to secure the Iron Throne, I think. Like, if I could pick anyone, he seems like he would really be the best. Oh my fucking God, you gotta be kidding me. This is tough. These are two, Better Call Saul is my second favorite show of all time. I think it's better than Breaking Bad. And both these characters are part of what makes it so good. But Chuck carries the first 3 seasons so hard. He is the driving force, clearly. But he is so interesting and so... Like, he is the perfect villain. I think he is the best villain in all of the Breaking Bad cinematic universe. Or, I don't even want to say villain, because he's not. Antagonist, clearly. Because a lot of what he thinks is fair. A lot of what he believes is rooted in logic. But there's, like, key flaws or things that he chooses not to care about. He puts, like, the rule of law over his relationship with his brother. But that's also because... he's jealous of his brother. There's so much good and dynamic. Howard is more of a means to an ends character. He definitely comes into his own more when Chuck leaves. But when Chuck's around, kind of just his puppet. A little bit of a dick suck. Then right towards the end, after chicanery, he pushes back. That's when he becomes a character. And his death is one of the most impactful. So is Chuck's. He leaves an impact on the story. I have to go with Chuck. It's close, but I do have to go with Chuck. That is not Abraham, but Ned Stark or Glenn. I love Ned Stark. I think he's, one of the best. But Glenn is the best character in The Walking Dead besides maybe the main character, besides Rick. Glenn is there's no other character in a show like that is so, like, you just put yourself in their shoes. Very relatable. Has very, like, similar cares and thoughts, but you're always rooting for him. You want the best for him. His death literally destroyed people's fucking lives. Only thing that they fucked up, which is not his fault, it does not affect the character. I see it as a poor writing and show decision thing, but when they did his fake out death, and then he comes back episodes later, and then within the same season, is fully killed. Loses the impact. So dumb. But we got him. Gus or Merle? Not really hard. I mean, I like Merle, but it's Gus. It's Gustavo Fring. Merle's interesting, though, except for when he says the N-word. The governor or Rick? I mean, it's obvious. There's nothing to discuss. It's Rick. Shane or Tyrese? I really like Tyrese, but I think that's more just like the actor. His writing's pretty poor. His death episode is very good, but it also is kind of just like cameos. But I do think it's good use of them. Because it's not just unnecessary people. Besides the governor, doesn't really make sense. But everyone else, I'm like, okay, yeah, bring the kids back. Bring whoever they want back. Shane's a legend. Everyone knows. We can talk more about him later, but he wins. Lalo or Carl? Fuck. No. It's Lalo. He's more interesting. He's more terrifying. Carl, I mean, that's not the metric here, but Carl, I do like him. But there are seasons where he does nothing. Or there's seasons where he's just, like, kind of like a tool or like he's part of the stakes. He comes into his own a little bit, but then it comes a little too late, and they kill him off the show. Lalo has some of the most iconic scenes in all of TV. He is such a, like, demon and an interesting character. Little tough. Not really. I think it is Glenn. Glenn's more dynamic. What I look for most in good characters is, a good arc, a journey, development, dynamicness. Tywin is pretty static. I do like him. And you need static characters to develop the developing characters. So he really develops all of his kids, honestly, even though he kind of stays the same. And that's kind of the point. Glenn develops, you see a completely different man by the end, like from episode 1 to his death. Very different guy. So it's got to be Glenn. If this is based on performances, I honestly may give it to Cersei. But it's not. I've not seen the end of her character. I haven't even seen her look like this. Nacho also kind of just like hangs around for a lot of it. But I would say at least once every season, he has an episode where he is stand out and he does something like interesting. He won it out, but he also didn't. He did what he thought was best at all times, but you know, you could hear all the stories about he was really a good guy, just in the wrong place. I think he's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't think he was a good guy, and he was a fucking great soldier, and he earned Gus's respect. And I think he adds to your hatred for the Salamancas and Gus. So when you rewatch Breaking Bad, it's like you're just thinking about like, wow, how they fucked over this guy who didn't deserve it. So I'm going Nacho. Michonne or Kim. Michonne, the strong silent type. I just realized there's no Sopranos on here. They're missing some shows, clearly, but she's good. She's not even close to Kim level. Kim is one of the best durantagonists in a show. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but she easy sweeps. Michonne is great, but not good enough. Daryl takes it. Hector or Hank, it's not too hard. This may be a hot take for some, but Hank is my favorite character, specifically only in Breaking Bad. Oh, fuck. Shit. The two best villains in either show. Chuck has inner turmoil way more than Gus does. Gus, you know his deal pretty early on, and he stays that way. And he's good, and even in Better Call Saul, he's kind of the same. You get to see him in a state he's never been, which is like terrified of Lalo. You don't get to see a scared Gus in Breaking Bad. But here's the thing. If we're doing both shows together in this bracket, as in like taking account for both the characters, I kind of think I did this with Hector, so I think I have to with Gus. Gus has 2 shows to develop. It'd be interesting and have memorable scenes. And I think that gives him the edge. Chuck, I think, is the better villain for his show specifically. It sucks. It's really hard. I love Chuck. If it was purely like, if this was a Better Call Saul bracket, I'm picking Chuck. Does that make sense? If this was a Breaking Bad bracket, Chuck wouldn't be on it. So, as a whole, gotta go with Gus. Sucks. Well, honestly, this makes you, whenever I do a Breaking Bad bracket or Better Call Saul bracket, results will be different. So that's good. Negan and Walter, it's a low diff. Sorry, guys. Shane or Steve? It's Shane. Like, Steve Gomez. Gomez is funny as fuck. Because his actor, I just don't think has ever done any type of classes or anything. He is so silly. He has the silliest fucking deliveries and just cracks me up. He's just not a real guy. Shane is an interesting character. Shane is the GOAT. This is kind of close, but not really. Mike, once again, 2 shows to develop. One of the best characters in either. I don't think he's the best in one or the other. I just think he's in the top 3 in both. Or top 5. Definitely top 3 for Better Call Saul. But sad to see the Hound go. I like the Hound a lot. Skyler White or Barry Berkman. Fuck. I am less refreshed on Barry than Breaking Bad, clearly. Like, I much prefer Breaking Bad. But Barry is what makes the show. You know, his performance, who he is. Barry, like, as a character, is very, very interesting. But I'm a big Skyler White defender. Not defender in the ways of, like, she's done no wrong. But in the way of, like, you know, I have to combat the fucking sexist assholes who think that she's, like, the fucking devil. And is somehow worse than Walter. If you think Skylar White is worse than Walter White, like in the show, over the entire period, you've completely missed the point of the show. Hate to tell you this. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but it is true. You have misunderstood Breaking Bad. That's okay. One day you'll understand it. Hopefully I can help you understand. Barry's arc falls off. In season 4, he falls off. He peaks in 2. Skylar White, I think she probably peaks in maybe season 3. I think I'd say. She's one of the best parts of that season. I think I have to go with Skylar. It sucks. I don't want Barry getting killed here, but he is just does not hold up his end. I love NoHo Hank. This is gonna get fucking buried. Barry is about to get buried. Tyrion is kind of unbeatable. Lust. Sorry. I saw Lalo and his. See that little vein in his biceps? That's where Lust. That's what came into my head. But Lalo versus Gus, just like the TV show, I think Gus will be winning. It's the same shit I said with Chuck. Gus has 2 shows. One where you get to see him as a villain. One where you get to see him as someone you root for. But Gus does take it. R.I.P. Lalo. Just like the actual fucking time. Rick versus Hank. Rick is a protagonist. Hank is not. Hank is honestly, I would call him an antagonist. I really would. By definition, he's an antagonist. But Rick has very high highs. But his arc is not planned at all. His development is foul. He goes from one thing to another. He goes crazy maybe 4 or 5 times in everything. Fake Out Death I hate. Send Off was pretty good. But the show was also not the same without him. But the quality of writing is just so much greater on Hank. And his arc. This is where I'll talk about this real quick. Him and Walter have parallel arcs. Hank starts hyper masculine and not in touch with his feelings at all. Not in touch with his emotions. Not in touch with who he is. He's just, this is him, macho man, racist, misogynist, all this shit. Kind of a bad guy. You kind of hate him in the beginning. But he slowly, his arc is like this. If this is a chart between masculine and feminine and being more emotionally conscious and secure, he goes like this. Meanwhile, Walter starts here, very emasculated by him, very self-centered or self-conscious and insecure. But he slowly becomes more and more masculine. And this is why he falls into a lot of toxic masculinity, red pill shit. A lot of people see him as this like dangerous guy and this guy to look up to. He's not. That's not the point of the show. But that's kind of part of it. His masculinity and traditional toxic traits become way more apparent throughout the show. And they go like that. They cross. One goes like this, one goes like this. They do a little cross. By the end of the show, Hank's very, very much more insecure with how he feels. He's confronted his emotions. Meanwhile, Walter is, super toxic, super masculine, breaks down, melts down, loses everything. And that's why Hank's better. It's Shane. I don't even want to talk about like Barry. I'm sorry. Daryl, I like you too, but I'm sorry. It's Walter. Now here we fucking go. This is interesting. Remember what I was saying about Gus? Kind of goes with Mike as well. You get to see him from 2 sides. He's a more interesting character. He carries episodes on his own. Skylar does not, I would say. She carries scenes and is important, but both are. So, I gotta give it to Mike. This sucks, but it's time to address the Saul in the room. He's the best fictional character of all time, in my opinion. At least he has the best arc of all time. I hate to see The Walking Dead leave, but it's gonna go. Holy fuck. I've never thought about this. You gotta understand. This is my first time watching Game of Thrones. Honestly, his speech in the courtroom, his speech in his trial is comparable to Nacho's speech here in this scene. I do not know how Tyrion ends. If Tyrion ends the show the way he is right now and nothing changes, I do think it's Nacho. I think Nacho is more interesting. He does more. I almost don't even want to pick, but I do have to. And I think I'm going to play it safe and go with the character that I know the whole story of. So I'm gonna take Nacho here. They're clearly the equivalent of each other in either show. And I'm unfortunately, I have a Better Call Saul bias. I do. But part of what makes that show so good is Kim and Saul's relationship. And I think that is a better dynamic than Walter Jesse. Walter and Jesse, they kind of have trouble deciding what they're going to do sometimes with the writing. And Jesse's a fucking great character, but there are times where he's in a slump. There's multiple times where he gets depressed in parties, and that's fine. And it's interesting and it's good. But Kim is just another level. That is how you write a supporting character, specifically a strong female supporting character. This is the blueprint right here. So gotta pick Kim. Yeah, I already said this, but The Walking Dead's leaving. Now fuck me. The show does not work without Kim. The show, I would also say, doesn't work without Hank. Because that's part of it. There wouldn't be the same draw if Walter was doing what he was doing and he didn't have a brother-in-law in the DEA. That adds so much more tension. The cat and mouse is great. There are times where Hank is sidelined. I've come to my decision. There are times when Hank is sidelined. When he gets shot, it is in the hospital and gets jerked off. That's like a whole season. And it's some of the best Breaking Bad, which sucks. Season 4, I would consider maybe the best. But it sucked. The worst part about the season is Hank being sidelined. Kim is never sidelined. Season 1, she's not really in it as much as the rest. But that's okay. So, I'm going to go with Kim. I'm sorry. Can't wait to hear what everyone has to say about that. Walter or Gus? I don't think people really have an issue with me picking Walter here. Haven't really had a chance to talk about him, but he is better. He's the main character. It's really hard to beat the main character of a TV show. It just is. Same. Yeah, this is the same case. It's hard to beat the main character of a TV show. Even though Mike has 2 shows to shine through, so does Saul. And in both shows, he's interesting. In one show, he's a lot more funnier. No, that's not even true. He's funnier in Better Call Saul. But he's the GOAT. Like I said, he's the fucking GOAT. And he is better than Saul. Sorry, he's better than... Saul is better than Walter. Jesus. Saul is better than Walter White. As protagonists. As dynamic characters. As likable characters. As tragic characters. As any metric you want to go against. I would argue Saul is better. In almost every one. I would love to debate with some people about it once we get the stream going a little bit stronger. But for now, yeah. Gotta go with my boy. Gotta go with the big Saul Goodman. Another 2 of the GOATs. But it's honestly not that hard. It's Kim. I clearly have a Better Call Saul bias by this bracket. You could tell by what you're seeing. But Kim is just like so much more of a driving force. Nacho is a strong supporting character. This is a protagonist, and Saul wins the whole thing. Fight me about it. I actually would love to debate anyone. Like, please, let's talk about the show. Talk about how we feel. But Saul Goodman, he is the winner. And he is the best character in TV of all time. But who knows? Maybe by the time I finish Game of Thrones, I think fucking Jon Snow is... Where the fuck was Jon Snow?